everybody, and welcome once again to another Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Joining Sam and I tonight, the guy you see at the Spartan basketball games in the black and white striped shirt, sitting at a table. He seems to be the official scorer, and he may be, Sam, the dean of official scorers in Indiana high school basketball.
Well, he very well may be, and we travel around the state, and there's been more than once when I've told the where we are that they're sitting next to the best book in the state of Indiana.
Terry, thanks for joining us this evening.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here among two great Spartan fans here.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about what happened at Spartan Bowl Saturday night. Greensburg came to town. I don't think they thought they were only going to score 27 points, which was the low for the season for the Pirates. But they did, and the Spartans sent them home with a pretty good loss.
Sure did, and the Spartans shot the ball well themselves.
Yes.
I had them, I believe, for 66% in the game. They were 9 out of 10 in the third quarter, and most of those were layups. They just really took it to them. Earlier in the game, three-pointers were dropping for them. So,
yes.
They were very dangerous the other night and just really wanted that. And, Fran, what an important game that allowed the Spartans to go up 3-0 in the Eastern Indiana Conference.
The defense was super, and like you said, they took it to them. I liked when they got the ball, they drove down. They didn't give Greensburg a chance to set their defense and win for a score.
And the Greensburg team's a good team.
Well, absolutely.
Coming in, but the defense and our offense carry you many times, and I think defensively we played so well that it translated into some pretty good offense.
Well, I think four of those fellows, weren't they on the championships teams?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah, so
they were seniors this year, and but when they were underclassmen, they won 2 straight 3A championships.
Of course, we beat them at their place last year, and I think that they wanted to come up here and return the favor, but we just weren't able to do it. And I was quite frankly surprised. I thought it was a game we would win.
Yes.
But I didn't think we would more than double the score on them.
I agree. We've got some highlights from the game. We might check into some of those now.
That's nice. That was
nice steal by the Spartans.
Early in the game.
Fires long.
And
that was the end of the first quarter when Phillips came down and banked in that three.
And if you look at when the clock started there, it was like 3 seconds from the time that Billups got that ball and went down, and he fumbled it slightly and then recovered it enough and took a good balanced shot and right in.
Sure was. Let's see who that was.
That was Billups.
Phillips again. Before that was Bo Isaacs. He's able to step out and knock him down. And another one from Phillips. He was hot tonight.
And you can see the scores doubled, and the Spartans just did not run up. I mean, if you look at the points difference throughout the game, our team did not run up.
And I like that. Many times you'll see them take their foot off the gas and let the team right back in, and they certainly didn't the other night. Got to have that killer instinct.
Unbelievable ball.
So often you'll see a team, they will let up and they'll lose a game then. But the Spartans have not had that problem this year.
And it's just one of the better teams I've seen this year out of the Spartans. We've had some great ones, but probably since the Matt Howard years, this is the best team we've seen.
Yes, I agree. 10 victories, 3 losses so far this season. As you pointed out, we're ahead in the Indiana Athletic Conference. We have 4 games remaining in the conference.
That brought the house down right there. Alley-oop into Grant Smith, and he jams it home, hurt hand and all.
Now, Grant wasn't the only Smith that had a dunk the other night. Wes Smith had a dunk. That surprised me.
Yes, it did.
I didn't see him doing that even in practice.
And it was good to have Wes back after he being ill last time we were at the Bowl.
That's just unbelievable.
Good to be hitting on all cylinders.
That when that happened.
It was 20-10. Now it's double score again, 44-22.
Silcott takes it in and lays it in. But it's a hard team to defend because they have such a good inside-outside game.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I knew that was one
There's
as soon
a
as you
three
got
by
We
What's
just
he
kept
doing?
on coming.
No one was
Noah
around him.
Belt,
He said,
freshman. I'm so impressed with him. And,
JV rosters, I
you
said.
know, you just never know about a freshman, but for him to be able to step up and play varsity basketball like he has, he's just great.
And some of the non-starters had an opportunity to play. In fact, all
They
those guys
just
got
haven't
in, I
shot that
believe.
much either. Now it's just time just set the ball
So
down. I mean, I
it was
guarantee
quite a
they'll probably
victory
make it from
for the
here.
Spartans in the final
Yeah.
score there.
Just hold it
The game in its entirety will be on TV3 this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, starting at 8 o'clock. So we invite all of our viewers to check in on the Spartans. Big victory over Greensburg that happened Saturday night at Spartan Bowl. Next up for the Spartans will be the Muncie Central Bearcats. They're only averaging, I think, 71.6 points a game, and they're giving up 63.5. So get ready for a track meet. Is that what it sounds like?
It sounds like it to me, and a tough team and a different team.
Yes.
Another good team coming into the bowl, but much different style than what we saw this past Saturday night.
But I think the Spartans will slow them down a little bit. I don't want to. We don't want to wear the score out. I mean, Terry, you've been at this how long?
This is my 45th year. I started back in 1970, 71. And,
Okay, so you were around 72?
Yes, yeah. That was a real exciting year to get me started on it.
That's right. You and Bobby Knight both started that year, I think. Bobby at IU and you at CHS in the scores thing. What's the official? What's your job?
You know, if the game goes real smooth, you'll never notice over there that there's any problems. But the three guys out on the floor in the varsity game, they rely upon me to keep them straight as far as when they're going to shoot a free throw, how many timeouts they've got.
Okay.
You know, it's a nice individual thing to know who scores, and you write it down. But they're all time asking me things like how many free throws to shoot, because again, you got that double bonus, and that's a real changer there that's come about in the last few years. It's really increased the number of points and the number of times that a team would say, I'm going to foul somebody. They might miss the first shot and they don't get a second. Well, you get 10 opportunities there to do that, and then boom, you're in the double bonus. And sometimes you can pull away, just like when the Spartans had 48 out of 55 free throws against Shelbyville a couple weeks ago.
Is that the last recent kind of big change in the rules, Terry?
That and the three-point play. I mean, the three-point shot, I think, is the most major thing that's happened. You see a lot of the records that individuals have had, and you say, well, is that pre-three-point play or not? Because, you know, I got a feeling there would have been a lot more players scoring more points if they had the three-point opportunity when they were playing.
What about the dunk? Wasn't it illegal at one time?
Yes, they thought that there were people getting hurt.
Yes.
And well, Grant Smith, you know, he fractured his hand there.
That's right, going up, hitting on the rim.
But they put it back in. Again, maybe their reasoning was a little bit more excitement, because every time, no matter who gets a dunk, if you're the home team player that's getting that, the crowd just goes bonkers.
Yes, they do.
Still 2 points, but
Right.
but it's fun to see.
Yep.
You started in 71, 72. What's the best game you've ever seen?
The best game was the first game in the state finals against Jeffersonville in that double overtime.
Okay.
I mean, that was at IU. That was at Indiana University Assembly Hall. That was the first year that was held there.
Right.
And that was the most exciting game because Jerry Ellis made the block shot of any game that I've ever witnessed, because he came from nowhere and blocked the shot of the Jeffersonville player, thinking, I'm going to lay this in. You're going to be so far ahead you can't. And he got the block on the shot. And then Jim Free, he had one of two. He was a freshman.
Yes.
Can you imagine being in the state finals?
Yeah, Jimmy was a guard, freshman.
Yep.
Right.
And he steps up the line. He made one of two. And so then we went into double overtime. That was the most exciting game, because, see, the next game was Gary West, and that was 80-63, and that was kind of a blowout. You know, exciting for us because we were so far ahead. Sure. But as far as the most exciting back and forth game, and Jeffersonville was the South Central Conference team at that time, and we'd already played them, and we'd beat them.
You know, I still have troubles believing that day because, as you pointed out, Gary West played the first game. We played the second game, double overtime. Our kids, had a couple, 3 hours rest, came out, destroyed Gary West.
Yeah.
I still find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
And you two both witnessed it, and
yes.
Once in a lifetime.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a thrill!
Yeah.
I was so thrilled. I was in basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I got a 48-hour pass and flew home and watched it on TV.
Oh, okay.
And so it was, just this community was just turned upside down with with that first state championship, and then follow up with the second one,
right,
11 years later. But something that we may never see again.
That's true. That's true. Terry, your take on class basketball?
I've never been in favor of that. And I know, too, that it's never going to change. It's going to stay the way it is.
It's like daylight savings time. They're never going to go back, are they?
No, because there's been some outstanding small schools that I think could have won the state championship. They always bring up about the Milan thing. Well, there are other schools that have been there, the Batesvilles and the Greensburg. I mean, those were outstanding teams. I think they could have played with anybody.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Has that affected the crowds, in your opinion?
That's part of the reason. I think another major reason is that there are more athletic events for students to get involved in. You got swimming going on, you got gymnastics going on, and you can only spend so much time doing those kind of things, and the parents are going to follow them. And there's another game in town that I think is very popular. It's called bingo. And they pay you money when you win, so I jokingly say that, but I go by where they play bingo on Friday nights and Saturday, and I see it. You couldn't park there at all.
But I think you're right with added sports, and since 1976, when girls basketball, girls athletics was sanctioned by the IHSAA, that it does split your audience. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's one of the factors. But I would have to think that class has done it also.
Yeah, I think it's a contributing factor. Terry, you're the official scorekeeper for the Spartans at home. You travel with the team?
Yes.
The scorekeeper at their away games?
I do the away games for boys and girls both. I've done the girl games, I think, 18 years. It's either 18 or 19 years now. I've missed maybe total boys game over those 45 years. I think I've missed maybe 22.
Is there any official you don't know?
It's really that's another pleasure that I have. Sometimes the fans think, oh, that official was horrible. That's the worst call I've ever heard or seen. They'll shout that out. But I have a great respect for officials and vice versa. 3 years ago, the Mid-Eastern Indiana Officials Association, I'll get it right, they gave me honorable membership. And, you have to be selected that. And, I've gone back to their banquet every year, and there's seldom a game that I don't have an official come over and say, hi, Terry. Shake my hands. I mean, my first name basis, and say, how's things going? And, it's a real pleasure because, again, I'm there to assist them. I can make them look bad. I can. Because whatever's in my book, official-wise, is right, even if it's wrong.
Okay.
and so I want to get it right. I don't do the play-by-play like Sam does, but as I sit there, I will say out loud, who scored, what the running score is, when they have a foul, how many fouls on them, so that if I am wrong, the guy sitting next to me from the other school can hear me.
Okay.
And that's what I tell that person. The same way with our scoreboard operator, because once in a while the score gets wrong up there, something's not correct, then I need to tell them, what it is that needs to be corrected, because the coaches watch that scoreboard very religiously, and if there's 1 point missing or added to the other team, immediately they look to me.
One thing that I've noticed over the years, that occasionally officials on the floor maybe have a question as to who a foul might have been on, or Was somebody shooting or just any circumstance? And if they don't see it, they've come and asked you what you saw, and they take your word for that.
They have, and that gives me a real pleasure because I know that they know I'm being honest. I'm not a homer. And so I've had that happen. I mean, it's been something that's more common than you might think. They just the other night they called it on the wrong player, and it was obvious because that player either wasn't on the floor at that time or he was in the far corner and nothing was going on over there. And he'll come over, and again, most of the time, if they ask me, I will volunteer. But the way I can get around that, if they don't ask me, I'll have them beep the horn and come over and say, there's some question here at the bench. And that would include the guy from the other team as to whether the foul was on so-and-so or what the situation was. I said, I'm not trying to tell you how to officiate, but can you check and verify this? And, you know, being respectful to them, and they'll say, yeah, you're right. This is one. Yeah. I've had them change it before, yeah.
That shows your integrity, too.
Yes, sure does. The confidence that they have in his decisions. Along with you is the timer, facial timer, scoreboard guy, and the other team's scorekeeper. So those are the four main guys along.
Right.
Sam's up there. We don't count Sam. He's on that long letter too. But no, so those are actually the guys that are involved in the game.
Yes. They've kind of changed the rule. Like this time, I'm the only one that should have the black and white shirt on. In the past, they had the timer, and we've had two timers. You know, one that runs the scoreboard, and then the guy next to him, I tell John Tipton, I said, how's your finger tonight? Because that's the only thing he has to do when he's over there is flip that time on and off. But that is so ultra important to have that clock turned on and off at the right time. So their jobs are extremely important also.
So he waits for the official to signal when to start the clock?
Right.
Okay.
He watches the arm. And if there's somebody in the way, a coach stands up, we say, hey, to the referee, we need to have this guy sit down. Because there are some coaches that seem to get out of the markings on the floor. And we won't mention any names, but every once in a while that happens. And
okay, when a player comes in as a sub, he comes up to you and reports, right? I've seen you a few times kind of lecture these kids. What's the problem?
Well, the rules change on that. And now the rule is the player must identify their number, and they have to identify it to me. And if they don't give me the number, I ask them for the number. And I tell their scorekeeper, the visiting, now this is when I'm a home official, I can do this. But before I start the game, I remind the scorekeeper from the other team that they need to come and report to me. Sometimes they report to Sam, sometimes they report to Larry Myers, the announcer. There's a big X in the front. And so then they have to tell me their number. They don't have to tell me who they're going in for. And if they don't, I say, what is your number, please? And I always am polite back. I say, thank you. Now, there was one night that there was a person, I won't identify him, everybody in Spartan Bowl knew that she didn't report, and I had yelled her name out to come back. And I just feel like now there's a reason I do that. It's not just for the authority of it, okay? Because one time there was a game in which the opposing coach saw the situation of where I was asking for the number. And one of our players came over and he did this. Okay, held the shirt up.
I see.
Now that's not really the proper way, and I should have thought about it. But the coach then said to the official on the floor, that person didn't report properly. Would you ask the official score? And then they come over to me and I said, well, this is what they did. And of course the rule comes out that you have to say the number. So they called a technical foul on our player. I vowed that would never happen to any player that reported to me again. Home or a visitor, doesn't make any difference, and that's why I'm that strict. So yes, I get that. Every game I get that.
I've only seen one other person do it as emphatically as you do, and I think that was recently down at South Dearborn, the gentleman down there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but or maybe it was somewhere else where we were, but the kids weren't doing what they were supposed to, and he let them know, and that's fine. And you are protecting them by having them do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 10 minutes before game starts, you have to have the rosters, numbers, and official signs your book.
Yep. And then with 1 minute to go, they have to tell me who the starters are. They usually tell me when they hand me the book, and if they give me the book and I say to them, I said, is this your official roster? Because there had been a time to where they give me a piece of paper instead of the book, and they differ.
Oh.
And so I asked them, is this your official roster? And so that way it's covered.
And you, the possession arrow, is that your job?
Yep. Yep, it's got to be right. I say it out loud, you know, so that the scoreboard operator knows that I changed it too, and I keep my finger right on the button on the back side to make sure.
And that's another rule change. It used to be a jump ball was a jump ball, but now it goes to alternates back and forth when there's a tie-up.
Ultra important there, because again, when that jump ball goes up, you've got to know which way to turn that thing. Yep.
And then at halftime, you got to remember to switch it, right?
That's right. If the official doesn't come over, I yell at him and say, hey, Greg, the night was Greg Reese, Greg, and he knows, and he comes over, and I said, I'm changing it now so that you can't do it in an improper time.
And you protect that scorebook throughout the game. I mean, if you leave your seat, it goes with you.
Yeah, only persons I give up the scorebook to, and that's at the end of the game, is Kerry Brown and Michael Thompson. They're the ones. One night, there was a student manager that would come over there and grab that, and I just yelled at him. I said, Dave, that is not for you to take.
Well, it's very valuable information in there that needs protected.
Because sometimes there's a number that's incorrect. We played last year against an Indianapolis school, and these two boys, varsity boys, interchanged their shirts in the dressing room and didn't tell the coach. So when they started the game, there was incorrect number, and so then we had to stop the game and technical foul. But the coach looked at the two boys and said, why did you do that? Who knows?
Makes you want. Both of you guys, of course, go out of town. Compare what happens here at Spartan Bowl as far as the pregame, the introductions and things. Seems like it's quite a production here at Spartan Bowl. Does any other school compare, in your opinion, you guys?
I don't think there is.
Yes.
You know, some people might say that we overdo it. Again, it's tradition. You know, too, that there have been some changes over the years. You know, carrying that Spartan in on something that would bring more attention to him as he jumped off. But I think that's good. You know, I've had so many people tell me over the years that they loved coming and playing in Spartan Bowl, even if they got beat. Because the atmosphere, there's no bad seats. So it's just a great place to play.
They darken the lights, and it makes the floors is well lit. I think that must help the players to have that black or dark background
around the seating area,
not seeing the people and everything. I would think that would help, and that might be one of the factors that they like to come here for.
Yeah,
they like to come here for.
If you remember, we had as many as 6 teams that came and played in our bowl every year because they wanted to come and play in the gymnasium that they might get to play in during the sectional or regional. And we had 6 teams, and you say, well, why is it? Why is it we don't go to them and play?
Yes.
And it was the other school. They wanted to come to Spartan Bowl and play.
Remember the regionals when we used to have put temporary bleachers up and have over 6,000 people in there?
I'll tell you, that was the greatest time because I did all those sectionals and regionals, and whether Connersville was in it or not, I was there to keep it. And you'd have schools from all the cheering. I mean, they would fill the place just as soon as you opened up the doors.
Yes, there was electricity in there.
There really was.
It was nothing like regional Saturday.
It's quite an atmosphere. You're right. I mean, all of southeastern Indiana was here for that.
And it was a hard ticket to get.
It was. There were times where you couldn't get tickets.
Well, remember, we would have a lottery for them,
Yeah.
a drawing. So.
Yeah, you had to have a season ticket, I think, to even be eligible for a regional ticket. High school basketball is in its heyday, but it's coming along. I mean, the kids haven't changed, have they, Terry?
No.
I mean, the kids still work hard, practice hard, play hard, and the only thing is the crowd isn't quite what it was at one time. But as you pointed out, and you and Sam, there are reasons for that. All the other activities that are going on and things for people to do. But the game is just as exciting as it ever was.
Well, it is for us. I mean, again, that's part of the excitement that I get. You know, it's like, okay, I'm looking at my schedule to see where I'm going to be and what nights.
You remember the years with April McDivitt and then Matt Howard and the Division I coaches that would come to Spartan Bowl and just to get to see those guys in person, it's just things you can't replace. And then a few years ago, when Park Tudor was coming down and Yogi Ferrell was there and the Michigan coach, what's his name, Boeheim, was there. I went over and talked to him, and he was so impressed with our facilities and with Indiana high school basketball.
Yes.
So, we get to see a lot.
Well, I've had fellows that worked with me when they were in high school, when they went to college, that they'd take the yearbook with them, and they'd show their roommates their yearbook, and they'd see Spartan Bowl, and they said, "What is this?" And they said, "This is where we play basketball." And said, "You mean in high school you play basketball in a place like that?" These guys were from a place where they had 1,800 people in seating capacity. So we're real proud, and we owe a lot to the guys way back in the 50s that sort of took a chance
Had
and
that vision
built the bowl. Yes, quite an exciting time. We might run briefly here as to some of the area teams. Union County is 7-4. Franklin County is 6-4. Rushville is 4-6. Centerville is 1-7. Cambridge City is 5-5, and Richmond is 4-10. The Red Devils are struggling. They're rebuilding or reloading, whatever you call it.
Excuse me, Fran, I'll get my handkerchief out. I'm going to cry on that.
Sam, good luck with the girls. They're still working.
Right.
They're playing Richmond this Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, and
I think they go to or they play.
Go to Franklin County on Friday night.
Okay, Friday night.
And
Okay.
then we'll be back at the bowl on Saturday night, and everybody can tune in to KMix 106.9. Dave Pollard and I will have all three games.
Muncie Central Bearcats will be invading Spartan Bowl, and it shouldn't be quite a thrill. Non-conference game, but it'll be a thrill.
Yeah, it is. And,
it's been great to have you, Terry, join us here tonight.
Been a real pleasure for me, Frank, especially you, because I can remember listening to you back when I was in high school. And I'm not trying to make fun of anything here, but I was thrilled the fact that, hey, Fran Schummel and Ralph Underwood were people that I could hear all the way down in Franklin County.
Yeah, we started together way back when, and it's been quite a ride.
he still has it.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thanks, Sam. I appreciate that. I really do. So it's been fun, and Terry, keep up the good work. And we've got 10 wins right now. Let's keep winning.
Yes, as Mark Beard always says, go Spartans.
Go Spartans, right. Thanks for joining us, everybody, here on the Spartan Sports Report. And we'll see you next time on TV3.